Hi there, my name is Mitch Harlabidis, and in this video we continue our series of how can we use the calculator on the AP pre-calculus exams. And if you just watched the previous video, you will know that in section 2, part A, one of the two free response questions is always about function concepts. And now we know that GDC is allowed on this question. And now we are checking how we can actually use our own calculator, which in this case is the Casio Fxcg50, to help us out in this question. We have already seen how we can use the calculator to calculate a function's zeros. Now we will take a step further and we will see how we can actually evaluate a function. And by that, I mean having a given function and finding its value at a specific point, at a specific x value or at a specific input. There are two ways to do that. The first way would be directly through the run matrix. So menu, run matrix, menu, and then run matrix. So we should go on the top left corner, and then let me delete that so that it doesn't confuse you. And then just do the needed operations. And by that, I mean that if, for example, f of x is 3x squared plus 2x, and I need to calculate the f of 2, the operations that need to be done is plug in 2 instead of x. By doing that, we know that this will create the 3 times 2 squared plus 2 times 2, and this is exactly what I need to insert in the GDC. So I'm going to go to the run matrix. I don't need to bring out any further commands. I will simply write 3 times 2 squared plus 2 times 2. Then I will just click on the X button and that's it. It's 16. Another example. F of x is x cubed minus 2x plus 27 over x plus 8. And I need to calculate the f of -1. Like I did before, here as well, all I have to do is plug in -1 instead of x. This would create the -1 cubed minus 2 times -1 plus 27 over -1 plus 8. I will carefully create all that by carefully applying all the needed brackets. It says -1, seal parentheses, to the power of 3, -2 times bracket -1, close the bracket, plus 27 over -1 plus 8. And there it is. The answer should be 4. So that is the first way. Go directly to the run matrix and do your substitutions. In the second way, we're talking about functions, so we will use their graphs. Go and use the graph. To do so, we need to go to the menu, then graph, and where it pops y equals, we have to, let me show that, menu, graph, And here we have to plug in the function's formula. So let's do the same two examples, 3x squared plus 2x. Draw. So it drew this graph. Let me change the windows so that we can see it more clear. I need to find f of 2. Let's see, 3x squared plus 2x. Now, for that, there are two ways. We can use trace. Trace is activated by F1. If I click on the F1 button, you see that the cross will start appear on the graph. I can use the cursor to move it to the left or to the right, or I can simply press on the needed value. You see, I need the f of 2, so I need to find the value of x equals 2. No matter how hard I try to move the cursor to the left or to the right, it's pretty much impossible for me to get on top exactly at x equals 2. But if I just click on the 2, it will pop up this, enter the x value x equals 2, and once I confirm it with the exe, it will directly show me the value. Be careful, I'm not seeing where the cross is, but the GDC knows. So it says x equals 2, y is 16. There is, however, a hint. I'm sorry, not a hint, a catch here. If I try to click on a different number, x, it says 208. If I click on 12, it will say out of domain. Out of domain does not mean that it can be done. The GDC has that, let's say, alert. This means that the x value that we try to feed it with is not shown in front of us. Indeed, if you notice, we can only see values of x from -10 up to 10. If we want to calculate what will happen to 12, f of 12, we need to make sure that we see that value. How can we now see that value? By zooming out. So I'm going to use, I don't want this again, so I'm going to go back and redraw that. And I will zoom out with a negative sign so that I'm now able to see the 12. Now, for trace and then 12, exe, you see, problem solved. The problem remains, however, if I click on the 25. It still doesn't see it. So it's okay. I know what to do by now. I should go back and redraw that, and then I should zoom out. And that's all. Now, a second way to solve this, apart from the trace, is to go to gsolve. This will pop up a whole new series of commands: roots, max, min, y-intercept, and then in the F6, you see that it has something like the play button, but if we click on that, it will create another 3 commands. And now we need to find a y value. So I'm going to click on the preCALC, which is F1, and it will pop up immediately that similar, remember we saw that window before in the trace option where it says enter the x value. Here I should put, let's say, 12, and then by exe it will pop up the needed y value. Enter x value and then exe. So to recap, we can use the GDC to find specific values of a function for specific input values. We can do that in 2 ways. First way, directly to the run matrix where we carefully substitute the given x value in the function's given formula, or we can draw the function's graph and then we can either use the trace option to find the y value, or we can use the gsolve path to do the same. That's all. Remember that when it comes to the GTC, all it takes from you is start playing with it. I hope this video helped. In case you do have any questions, please let me know of them and leave them below this video as a comment. As always, thank you for your time.